Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Destiny here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a color correction video. Okay, I had to pull out my makeup Gordon Ramsay and really get into you guys. I see so many different techniques being taught and used, and I really just wanted to bring something simple and comprehensive to you guys. I will have links in the bottom bars to some of my first color correction videos. All still relevant, all great learning tools. If you would like to learn how to achieve this look, color corrected foundation, bronzer, and everything, all you gotta do is stay tuned. Okay guys, so when it comes to color correction, I definitely believe that there's a little bit too much going on right now. I want to say that color correction on an everyday basis is not always necessary unless you have very deeply pigmented hyperpigmentation, bags under your eyes, areas around your muzzle, neck area. A lot of foundations are high coverage these days, and the color correction need has been greatly reduced. From the days when I first started posting on YouTube, from when I started posting some of the first color correction videos, it was heavily needed. Foundation wasn't as highly pigmented, and I feel like people were just wearing less makeup, and I feel like that is when color correction really comes in handy. When you want to wear a little bit of makeup, but you really want to look great, you want to color correct, maybe a little bit of concealer, maybe a tiny bit of foundation. But nowadays people are wearing foundation that could cover the ozone, plus color correction, plus concealer, plus sandwiching it all between powder, and honestly it's a little bit ridiculous. I feel that I am in the right to come and say this. As I said on Instagram, I have put up some of the first, most comprehensive, educational, straightforward color correction videos. You know, I don't come to play with you guys and come to and do all of that other stuff. It's fun and it's cute, but I think you guys are getting lost in between the you guys are getting lost in the makeup, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to educate you on makeup, honey. And I will have a link in the bottom bar if you're in Southern California to my makeup class on August 9th. I'm gonna be doing a whole bunch of this because I'm in my feelings, because I see you guys in the streets and y'all are not looking cute, but y'all are acting cute, but y'all are not looking cute. So let's start. I'm going to show you two techniques, okay? One is going to be a color correction first, then foundation technique. And then on this side, I'm going to do a foundation and then color correction technique, okay? And I hope you guys learned something. And that's it, gang. I'm not here shit and giggle with you guys, okay? There's going to be a lot of links in the bottom bar for a whole bunch of other color correction videos, which I've slayed, okay? And they're old as dirt. And everything in them is all still relevant, okay? Iconic, okay? Zaddy, okay? Hashtag dad vibes, okay? Let's get started. Aggravating me. Y'all aggravating me. And I'm sipping slow, okay? Because I'm trying not to get sleepy. No, but on a serious note, you guys, if you guys are not familiar with color correcting primer, Smashbox makes some, Makeup Forever makes some, LA Girl makes some. This kind of helps for the ladies who have little fine color discoloration all over the face. Today's lesson will be on orange color corrector. If you look at the color wheel, the color across from orange is blue and purple. And generally, that is the colors that make up discoloration. Blues, purples, you get a muddy gray color. You know, it's kind of a color that says it's missing pigmentation. Okay, so orange color correction comes in and gives that area back life. Okay, gives it back life. Around my eyes, a little bit discoloration. Around my mouth, we have a little bit of discoloration, but not much. This is just going to be a light base. I'm going to use this on both sides. And it's just going to help to deal with the very lightest of discoloration. And as you can see, it put a little bit of a white cast on my face, but that's okay because you're never going to really wear a primer. Well, no, you can wear primers without foundation, but this is not the kind of primer that you would wear without foundation. Let's go ahead and I'm going to jump right in. Now, I have color correctors from LA Girl here. I feel like these are the most accessible. I feel like I use these the most. I feel like you guys probably have these. And what I like about the LA Girl color correctors is they have a few colors. They have the orange color corrector, they have the reddish color corrector, and then they have the peach. The peach color corrector is probably the light, well, it's definitely the lightest of all three, and it's what I would like to use as more as a highlighting color corrector. It does go in and it does take out the darkness. It doesn't take out as much as a deeper orange would, but it also offers slight highlighting properties, and I like to use this under my eye, so I'll probably use this under my eye. Okay, reddish color corrector is for very deep, dark, almost black color correction. And I really like this. I don't have any need for this anymore, any areas on my face, but I will try to address this in a little bit of this video. And then we have the traditional orange color corrector, which meets most people's needs. I will say, if you're deep down into your makeup game and you already have a little bit of knowledge, color corrector can be as personalized as foundation. Okay, warm and cool, light, medium, dark, extra dark, pale color correctors. I would say that this one is probably one of the best universal colors for color correction, and it also has a set. You can also mix a little bit of yellow into your color corrector depending on your undertones and depending on the tone of the area that you're trying to correct. So I absolutely love those. And then I have a couple from Graftobian as well. I have this set. It has that kind of orangey tone, and then it has more of a skin tone color corrector. I like skin tone color correctors and color correcting concealers because it takes a lot of the guesswork out. If you have a foundation or a concealer that's too orange for you, that can be greatly used as a color correcting concealer. Then we also have some of the other colors in color correcting. Green, which can help to counteract redness, a very soft peach for lighter tones, and then pink and yellow that help with purple and a lot of other discoloration in face. So in the back of my hand I have a little orange and a little peach. I don't want to confuse you guys. I wasn't even going to tell you, but a lot of the times I like to just mix the two together. It comes and it brings kind of almost a skin tone color, and I like to use that in my under eye. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of people go in and do a mask like this and then leave it, and I'm kind of like, no. And you're gonna blend it out. Color correction should eat up the darkness. It should eat up the area of discoloration, and it really shouldn't be seen that tough. Okay, I'm also gonna go in on this side of my mouth, and you can also see that little hyperpigmentation dot on my nose. You can see in here, that's actually a pretty dark area, and I might be able to use the reddish color corrector on that. Wasn't as dark as needed, but as you can see, that area gets eaten up. This is an area where I will apply foundation over top, but that's not going to be the base of how you want all your color correction to look. I have the orange and I have the peach here, and I'm just going in. You can go in very precisely in only the areas that you need, or you can create a soft blanket mask. I like this color that I've created with the orange and the peach because it disappears into my skin most effortlessly. As you can see, this kind of red is showing up a little bit, which is okay, but you don't want that to be the general base of your color correction. What I do like about the LA Girl concealers is they come to a dry down. So it's not like you're applying layer after layer of super creamy products. They are going to dry down into your skin, and you can go in the areas that you have hyperpigmentation and just blot it out. Now, around my forehead, I wouldn't say that it's super hyperpigmented. but it is a little bit of a darker cast. And if you really wanted to create a completely blank, flawless canvas, that is the area that I would go in and color correct. Okay, so as you can see, my under eye completely flat, no discoloration. The dots on my cheeks are gone. The area around my mouth is completely clean. Okay, so I'm gonna apply a foundation over this, and you will be able to see how seamless covering up all these areas is going to look. And then on this side, we're going to do foundation first. So for my foundation today, I'm going to be using Golden Sunset from my Graftobian palette. They actually do have a new palette out. I'm a big fan of their makeup. I'm using my whole body as my canvas, but I'm a big fan of their makeup. And I thought that I would just go in for old time's sake and use their foundation. Now with the whole powdering, if you're super oily and you feel like that helps you, go for it. But using your color correction properly and not piling it up there, I think it's going to keep you from having to powder your situation. No orange showing through. There was no orange after the fact. That was just sitting on my face. I see that a lot, the super mask technique, and I'm just like, that is not even really necessary. Even with the deepest, darkest of hyperpigmentation, I've never had that has to be necessary. I'll say that, and then I'll have people say, well, yeah, but you don't know what. I do know what's necessary. I don't have or suffer from super dark pigmentation, but I have worked on clients who do, and I have never had to leave a whole mask of orange on their face. I just haven't. So that's that. So on this side, I'm going to show you foundation and how to color correct afterwards. This is the technique that I prefer because I feel like once you do your foundation, everything that's left over needs to be color corrected. A lot of times if you color correct first, you will have the tendency to over color correct because you're doing everything firsthand, and in this you're doing the residual. Now, Graftobian foundation is really good and creamy and highly pigmented, so I won't have to do as much, but I'm gonna try to shear it down so the hyperpigmentation still shows through, and I'll show you how to address it for an everyday need, for an everyday person who's not maybe a makeup artist, who just goes to work and minds their business and does an everyday type of routine. This is personally how I like to color correct. If you're not going to be on TV, if you're not going to be sitting under hot lights all day, if you're not going to be in a high production or performance situation. And as you can see, the foundation looks great. There's a little darkness here. My under eye has a little shadow, and then there's a little divot right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the peach and orange that I have on the back of my hand, and I'm going to sweep that under my eye. And as you can see, it completely blends into my foundation and just eats up the shadow that bag underneath, well, not bag, that darkness under my eye left. Just gonna go in with your two colors, come around your mouth area. This is another instance where foundation that's too orange for you or a color correcting concealer would come in. Come around my mouth, on my chin, this little wig burn right here, and blend it out. Blend it out, stipple it out. And as you can see, all the areas were taken care of. Take a little bit on your stippling brush, go in the areas where you have a little bit of darkness left over, and add some of that orange pigmentation. to the darkness. It's going to counteract, it's going to balance it out, it's going to eat it up. Okay, I'm going to go in with the orange corrector. 1, 2, 3 little light baby dots. And I'm going to blend that into the scar. And you see how that just disappears? There's not a mass of orange. It eats up the discoloration. And you can blend everything away. Really, really simply. I feel like the mass majority of people don't need a whole bunch more color correction in this. In the event that you have a really dark birthmark, if you have a burn that's purple or blue, if you have some other type of scar on your face, you can go in and do this technique with a little bit more of a color correction, and then you can also apply color corrector over top your foundation. I personally prefer this side. I feel like it looks a little bit more natural. This side's a little bit more seamless, but this side is lighter, more natural. And the thing about color correction is, the thing about hyperpigmentation is, once you apply your foundation and it's still creating that discoloration, from that point you can go in and you can decide, okay, I did my foundation, but there's still a little grayness here. There's a little blueness. There's a little redness. This works with all colors of hyperpigmentation and can be used on all skin tones. So now I'm going to go in with the peach corrector, and I'm going to show you how I kind of like to use it as a highlighter. This is going to help with any other residual discoloration, and it's also going to act as a highlighter for these areas. Now these do have a dry down, so you do want to move quick when using these. And as you can see, it really lifted my under eye. There's no powder. I didn't have to use a concealer that's white in tone or really, really pale beige. That peach color corrector does a couple jobs. It balances out the remaining color hyperpigmentation or discoloration showing through, and then it also elevates and lifts your face a little bit. Okay, so now that your color correction is done, as you can see, each side of my face looks a little different. You can go in and now do the rest of your makeup. This is Toffee, this is from LA Girl, and I'm using this as my, like a skin tone highlighter. Okay guys, so we're going to go in and set our foundation. If you don't know how to set your foundation, I just did a video on it. I'll have the link in the bottom bar and probably a card somewhere for you guys to check it out. This is Warm Saffron from Dermablend. I do feel like this is one of the best colors for darker complexions. In the center of your face, it's like a combination of like sienna with a little bit of a banana powder, giving you just enough warmth and just enough depth. Enough warmth to give your face a center glow, pop and highlight, and just enough depth to keep you from looking too ashy. When this oxidizes, it just looks beautiful and natural, and it's a color translucent powder, so when it does oxidize, it doesn't change the color of your foundation. That's very important. Okay, so I'm just going to go in. The brushes that I'm using are from Royal & Langnickel Moda, and this is an eye contour brush, and I love the size of it. I'm going to stamp it, and then I'm going to brush it back and forth. And because the color is so dead on and perfect, it just really disappears into my under eye area. Putting it around the muzzle of my mouth. If you suffer from lines in your makeup, blow your face up, apply it, and then work it back and forth so it gets into those lines. Usually a line happens when you place makeup over top, and then inside the line it's still creamy. I'm going to read these in 1 second, you guys. We're going to let this sit for a couple seconds, and then I'm going to blend it out and blend it away. So now I'm going to go in, I'm going to do my bronzer. This is Bronzeville from the Prime Beauty, and I'll be using a motor brush, a very fat brush. Bronzer is supposed to look naturally occurring, not too precise. So I'm just going to go along with that fat brush along the side of my forehead. Now I'm going to go in with Chocolate Liddy, and this is a bit of a deeper bronzer. I'm going to take it, I'm going to put it right in the heart of my natural bronzer, and that's just to really give the face a chisel and a contour. And I'm going to blend everything out. This is a great way to do a very natural nose contour. It gives a little bit of shadow. Nothing too precise, but it does help your whole face to look cohesive. Now we're going to quickly go in and highlight. I am using Mary Luminizer. I think this is one of my favorite tones for dark skin as a highlighter. I think it gives you a little bit of gold and a little bit of that pale tone, and I just feel like that looks so much more natural than a bright gold tone. And I get asked all the time about my favorite highlighters, and this is definitely one of them. I mean, oh my god. Just beautiful. I really, really love this highlighter. It was one of my first highlighters, and it's still one of my favorites. Alright guys, so that is it for the look. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something. I want the takeaways from this video to be that color correction doesn't have to be something that's intimidating. It doesn't have to be something you use every day. There are 2 different techniques, and I also want you guys to take away that you have to blend out your color correction. Don't just apply a mask of color correction over an area and leave it. Blend it out. You'll get such a better result. Easier, lighter. I know when you are doing makeup routines and makeup techniques that require layering, it can be hard. It can make your makeup look heavy. It can make your face look high maintenance and just too much. So I hope that you guys took away some really great things that you learned from this video. If you did, definitely comment below something that you learned, maybe something that you've been doing wrong, or maybe even a tip that you have for me. Okay, so as always, I want to thank you guys so much for commenting, rating, and subscribing. I'll be in touch, and hopefully you'll do the same.